As a culture, just oftentimes we're just so fine with being NK. It's like we got a NK syndrome, and sometimes, and we just fine with it. We okay with not knowing. We okay being NK to certain situations because we didn't know any better. In other words, we naive. We just didn't know. Imagine being in a class where everybody else can read and you can't. Everybody else can add. Everybody else can subtract and divide, and you hadn't learned it yet. You NK to it, you not knowing how to do it. And oftentimes when we NK, when we not knowing, it's belittling. It's funny to others, and it's normal. It's normal to you. It's normal to the one NK because they just don't know. You know, my name is Stormy Madison, and I'm an entrepreneur. Back in 2013, I remember me and my dad starting in the food trucking industry, if you will. My dad's always been in restaurants and had restaurants, but I joined links with him in 2013, and I just remember through owning restaurants and meeting through so many people. And just a couple of years ago, out of all the experiences that I had in restaurants, I never forget this till the day I die. I never forget it. We had a restaurant in the neighborhood called Winging It. When we were in the neighborhood, there was a convenience store right on the corner, a car shop, and apartments across the street would be low income. And oftentimes, people from the neighborhood would come in and order food, and they would always say, "Man, are y'all hiring?" And depending on when they came in, we would say, "Well, hey, here goes the application. If you fill out and bring it in, when we're ready to hire, we'll get with you." Never forget, we were slow one day. It was me, my father, and two or three more associates in the restaurant. And we were on a busy highway, and oftentimes people would cross the highway from the neighborhood to go to the convenience store. And I remember it was three or four girls, young ladies, walking across the street. And as they were walking about to pass the restaurant, one of them stopped. And she couldn't have been no older than 16 years old. And she had on a halter top with her stomach showing and real short shorts, not very appropriate, if you would, I would say, for a 16-year-old. And we were slow, and we had an all glass front of the building. And she came in and she said, "Hey, my name is such and such, and I just want to check on my application." And I remember one of our associates approaching her and saying, "Your name is what?" And she said, "My name is such and such, and I just want to check on my application." And our associate said, "Well, we're not really hiring right now, but if anything changes, we'll hit you up." As a young lady was asking about her application, her other friends had stopped at the road, kind of looking back, and then she went and joined them and walked on to the convenience store. I remember as they was walking off, two of our associates was looking at each other and laughing and saying, "Man, she knows she shouldn't have came like that, asking about no job application." What she was thinking, ain't nobody finna give you no job like that. And I never forget to this day. I never forget what my father said after they was talking. I never forget what he said. He says, "The thing is, she didn't know no better." He said, "The thing is, she didn't know any better." See, she was NK. She was not knowing. To her, it was fine to come ask for an application that way. Nobody had ever taught her. She didn't have the knowledge to know that, hey, if everybody is wearing jeans and a shirt there, you should at least come asking for your application with jeans and a shirt. So as we was making fun of her, or our socials making fun of her, or laughing, if you would, about it and saying, "Man, she should know better," she didn't know no better. So how many times in life are we doing things unknowingly? We applying for things. We putting ourselves in front of people in certain positions, and when we leave, they sitting there laughing at us. They saying, "Man, they don't even have a clue. Nobody ever showed them. They don't stand a chance." How could a slave be a president? He don't even know how to read. He didn't even stand a chance because he's not knowing. He don't even know how to read. So there's some things in life that we just NK to. And what's worse about being NK is not knowing and not understanding that you're not knowing. So awareness is the biggest thing we can do. Even in the Bible, it talks about it. It talks about a man who gains knowledge. is better than silver and gold. It's one of the best things that you can grasp in this world. And if it's one of the best things that you can get, if it's better than silver and gold, if you don't got it, it's devastation. So, what are we not knowing when it comes to business? What are we not knowing when it comes to our relationships and parenting and our mental and our spirituality? What are we not knowing? What are we just okay with? So, we got to learn to read. We got to learn to be listeners first and talkers second, because it's hard to listen when you always talking. It's hard to get input when you always giving output. Let's not walk through our life in cave about so many situations. We can't learn everything, but it's great. It's nothing better than gaining knowledge. It's nothing better than spreading it. Like I say, even when it comes to the business, it's just so much we don't know, so much we haven't studied about funding and running a successful business and structure. All of that. I just wanted to drop that today, man. This is Storm Master with Storm Matt TV, something a little different, but hopefully that inspires. Hopefully that makes something go off in somebody's head and say, you know what? I'm just in my business. I'm just in my marriage. I didn't really want to have a child. I just had it. And it's a lot of stuff I'm not knowing about how teenagers are or how children are, how young adults are. It's just a lot that I don't know. And so I'm going to study. I'm going to read, and then it's going to challenge my normal thinking. My norm is going to challenge it because it's different. That little girl who asked about the application, she didn't know no better. She would never came. Nobody out the crew said, "Well, look what you got on. You about to go ask for an application looking like that." No, nobody in her circle said anything. She was NK. They was NK. So are you okay with being NK is the question. Are we okay with not knowing? Man, I don't do this often, but I felt like this is just on me, and I needed to get it out. So hopefully this touched somebody. Hopefully this blessed somebody. Again, I'm blessed to be here. If you watching, you blessed to be here. Appreciate you. If you want to like, share, subscribe, do that. If you want to know when I'm going YouTube it again, hit the bell. If you want to do those things, do it. But I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate you taking what has been put on me to give to you and saying, man, I'm gonna be more aware. I'm gonna read. I'm gonna slow down. I'm gonna look into my Bible. I'm gonna look into this book. I'm gonna look into the policies. I'm gonna look into the way stuff is supposed to be ran, business, and read about successful business people and successful relationships. And now I'm gonna become knowing of it and I can become better. Appreciate it.